Our story today is about Saul and how he was converted into believing in Jesus. So if you remember the story we had about Stephen a few weeks ago, Stephen was a man that the church had chosen to teach people about Jesus, and he was doing that. But some people got really angry, and so they threw rocks at Stephen until he died. And while they were doing that to Stephen, there was a man standing nearby whose name was Saul. And the people who were throwing the rocks at Stephen put their coats at Saul's feet, and he watched them as they stoned Stephen. Saul was a believer in God, and he did not like people telling things that he thought were not true about this man named Jesus. So when he heard about people who believed in Jesus, he would go to their houses and take them out and take and throw them in prison. Now that sounds like Saul is a very bad person, but really he's not, because when he was young, he learned about God and he learned about God's laws from Moses, and he wanted to follow them. And as he grew up to be older, he did follow them, and he served God in every way that he could. So when he heard people talking about this Jesus, he did not believe what they were saying, and so it made him angry. He had heard about some people in a place called Damascus who were also believing in Jesus and teaching about Jesus, and he decided to go to Damascus and get those people and bring them back to Jerusalem and throw them in prison. So Saul went to the high priest and asked him if he could please have a letter that would give him permission to go to Damascus and take these people from there and bring them back and put them in prison. And the high priest, he was more than willing to give Saul that letter because he didn't believe in Jesus either. So Saul went with some friends to Damascus, and he was carrying his letter with him. But all of a sudden, as he was walking down the road, there was a bright light, and it shone in his face. And he fell to the ground. Oh, he couldn't see. The light was so bright. And then he heard,
Saul, Saul, why are you persecuting me?
Oh, who are you? Saul asked.
I am Jesus, whom you are persecuting. Get up and go to the city, and wait until you are told what to do.
The people that Saul was with were so surprised. They could hear the noise, but they didn't see anybody standing there. After Saul heard Jesus tell him that, he got up, but he could not see. The light from heaven had blinded his eyes. He could not see where to walk. So his friends had to help him back to the town of Damascus. And when he got there, he went to a house and he waited for God to tell him what to do. In the meantime, there was a man in Damascus whose name was Ananias. Ananias believed in Jesus, and he worshiped God. One day he heard,
Ananias.
Yes, Lord, Ananias said.
Go to the city and to the house where Saul is. He has seen a vision that you are coming, and will put your hands on him, and he will see again.
Oh my. Now Ananias had heard about Saul. I expect he was not too excited about having to go see him. But what he said was, But Lord, I've heard about this man Saul. He hurts your people. He goes and puts them in prison, and he has even come to Damascus to arrest us and put us in prison too. Ananias did not want to go, but Jesus said,
Go. I have chosen this man to be my mighty preacher. He will go all over the place and teach everyone about me, no matter who they are.
So Ananias obeyed Jesus, and he went to where Saul was. Saul was waiting, he was praying. He did not eat or drink anything for 3 days. When Ananias came, he put his hands on Saul, and when he did that, something like scales fell from Saul's eyes. And then he could see again. Oh my. Then Ananias took Saul and he baptized him. And once Saul was strong enough again, Saul went and he told people all about Jesus, and he did become one of God's mighty preachers.